Hi Tamsin, how are you?
Hello, Josh. Now you're not on mute.
I'll keep that in just so you can embarrass me in front of everybody. It's lovely to be able to speak to you, Tamsin, because I had a great time with this show. And I'm curious whether getting to be the big boss of this syndicate is a big part of what actually drew you to the project, because what a great character.
She's a great character. She was pitched in one sentence to me, which was, "Do you want to play a powerful woman who bullies Hugh Bonneville?" I mean, it's a great pitch. Who could say no to that?
Oh, fantastic. And you and Hugh actually, you do have some really wonderful scenes together. So what was it like to work on that back and forth and to develop that dynamic between the two of them?
Unfortunately, there was a very long table between us, so I couldn't quite get the classic signature Bonneville twinkle close up, but I could imagine it. Also, it's probably good for Hugh to keep Lady Guinevere at table's length, because she's so flippant about her ability to have people executed. So it was great fun to be in his company. You know, he's a very detailed, very precise, very elegant artist, and so I just copied him.
Brilliant. And would you say it's true that it's more fun playing a villain? Or I know a lot of actors say they don't actually view their characters as a villain, but what was it like for you in that respect?
Yeah, I think that those people say that are correct. I don't think the person thinks of themselves as a villain. They're just doing their lives. They're just, you do you, I'll do me. And Lady Helen just happens to be at the top of the pyramid with a lot of money and experience and access. And so she's just doing what she does. And if somebody needs to be executed, then to not do that wouldn't be doing her job poorly. So, yeah, she's just trying to do her job well and not get killed herself.
That's a great take on it. And this is obviously a very funny series, and your character has some very great comedic moments. But then there's that sinister undertone to her as well, maybe a little bit of hint of madness sometimes. I love that giggle you almost added on to when she's talking, especially when we first meet her. So what was it like for you to find the character and to think what you wanted to bring to her to portray that?
I've thought about this and been and spoken about it, but I thought about who's the most powerful in the room. Say, for example, if you're a family gathering and you think that maybe it will be the matriarch, the one who's made the dinner, who's most powerful, the one who might burst into tears at any point. But actually, in reality, the most powerful creature in the room is the toddler who has a tantrum because it's a little bit late to eat, and there are too many presents have been opened, and so that child could kick off at any point. So I just put that child into a big posh dress and just set her going.
Oh, fantastic. And you mentioned the dress there. Of course, you get some really elaborate, fantastic costumes throughout the course of the show. So what was it like for you to wear those? And did it help inform your performance as well at all?
The costume designer on the show, Rosa Diaz, is someone I've worked with on a number of different projects. She's a brilliant woman, incredibly precise and detailed, but also very playful, and has a great team of makers around her. I said to her quite, I don't want to wear a corset because I hate corsets. And she said, don't worry, we'll work around it. And so if they look elegant, it's because she's brilliant. And yes, of course, when you're surrounded by, the dresses are kind of like a planet. You have and it's a sort of orbit, which also means that people can't get too close. She wears very, very elegant gloves, which means, she's in a global pandemic situation all the time. So she mustn't touch other human beings in case they infect her. And no one must come too close unless it's a dog and can therefore be useful and warm on a cold day.
And do you find when, whether it's a project like this or a contemporary project, that the costumes, the makeup, like I said, the jewelry, do you find that does play a lot into what you end up bringing to the role?
Definitely, you're all departments are bringing their own creativity and their own wonderful imagination to it. I was working with hair and makeup designer, Susie Munnican, who was really excited about the wigs and created these wonderful pieces. And we were hoping that there would be a scene where you would see Lady Helen just taking her wig off and popping it down, and then her hair being slightly ravaged and maybe a bit bald. She's maybe got alopecia or something. Unfortunately, we weren't able to find a place for that to go in, but who knows what's down the line.
Yeah, for sure. And some of my favorite scenes of yours are with Noel. There's that flirtiness, a bit of hatred on your side. So many different layers to that. But what did you enjoy about working with him and exploring that side of things?
Oh, Noel Fielding has his own universe of panache that just walks in the room. He's a painter, he's a creative, he's always imagining, and there's kind of like sparks that sort of fly off him, which are very infectious. So you allow that to inspire you as well. And he's playful and childlike as well. So I think Lady Helen was just like cluing into that, the playful naughtiness of, shall we play kiss chase or shall I just kill you?
And of course, you and Ellie White as well. I don't want to go too much into their relationship for spoilers, but there's a great back and forth between the two of you. And as two of the main female cast members in this show, what did you enjoy about exploring that side of things and both of you being these quite strong-headed, powerful characters in your own ways?
I'm a huge fan of Ellie White. I think she's a brilliant performer and a great inventor and, endlessly watchable. So I was really thrilled to be a player alongside her. And yeah, I think that it's that you're right. There is a lot of back and forth. And because their relationship is, no spoilers, to be revealed, it has history. It means that their dialogue can be much more surprising and unexpected and undercutting than you would expect. So yeah, it's a lot of fun to be around her.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you find working on this project, was there a lot of room for improvisation and to have fun on set, or was it quite tight to what was in the script for you?
The scripts are very elegantly constructed. They've got a great writing team involved, and so really you're just playing a very well constructed piece of music, and then it's what you bring to it that will bring it into that three-dimensional arena. I think the elements of improvisation are to do with what come from the character and what sort of pop out when you least expect it, and certainly the physicality of a character. I found out when I was able to walk with Noel that Lady Helen actually moves much quicker than her dress would allow. So often the dress could have been an impediment, but because she's so active and giddy, it meant that she was in control rather than the dress being in control.
Oh, brilliant. And I'm curious, there's so many funny scenes in this series with your character and with everyone, of course, but was there anything you struggled to get through on set that just kept cracking you up, or was it quite easy to just, like you said, get into that script and just stick to it?
Yeah, I was quite well behaved on this job. I've wasted a lot of time in my career, of which I'm deeply ashamed. And so I think I'm coming to terms with the fact that I've got a lot of work to do to stop wasting people's time. So I think I was pretty good on this one and just kept my head down and didn't let the imp of giddiness undermine me.
Brilliant. And as we said at the start of the interview, this is a very powerful female character, which I think is always something we need to see on screen. But for you, what's it like to sink your teeth into a role like this? Where, as you said, you've got that power in her first scene where she can just order the death of someone and yeah, no one can question her.
Yeah, it's a lovely scene to introduce the character. But she's also very polite. There's some beautifully set up contradictions. She's confused about why the person is there. I thought I'd had you executed. Oh no, well, it's fine then. But oh no, I can't concentrate if you're there, so you're going to have to go. But then she's, but thank you so much because I did ask for it and now it's happened. So that's great. So, she's pretending to have morals and manners on top of a childish desire to pull the legs off bugs and see how they die. You know, it's a difficult contradiction to play.
Yeah, absolutely. And while I have you, Tamsin, I'd kick myself if I didn't mention Friday Night Dinner. I think that's become one of the all-time great British sitcoms now. It's revered. You see cards for it, t-shirts, everything. So what's it been like for you to see the legacy of that show and the way it's just been embraced by people, I think, more and more in recent years?
Yeah, no, when none of us knew when we were making our 10-minute teaser to try and sell the show to the channel back in 2009. It was a long time ago. And I was around those brilliant actors for more than a decade. And the show found its place very, very much in lockdown when people were locked in houses, watching this family locked in a house of their own making. And the fact that there was always a character that you could relate to in each family. So, yeah, it's found its place. And I'm thrilled that I was part of it.
Yeah, it deserves to. And back to this series, season two, if we're lucky enough to get one, I know I would like to spend more time with these characters. Where do you think you would like to take Lady Helen Goodyear if you had some input in where she could go next and what she could do in this show?
Well, Lady Helen Guinea has so much power already that it's difficult to imagine where she would stop. So I think she'd probably want to just climb higher and higher up the pyramid and maybe be able to see how many people she's killed along the way. So yeah, it's about how many toys that she can get in her own toy box and not worry about the other annoying children.
Amazing. And there's so many great British actors in this series, both as guest stars and leads, such as yourself. And it's a real showcase, I think, for British comedy. And a lot of people are going to see actors overseas who they haven't seen before, thanks to Apple TV. So what does it mean for you to see British comedy get a global audience on such a big platform?
This is like one of those extraordinary boxes of chocolates where you open up and you can't believe that all your favorites are in the same box, and you bite into another one and it's even more delicious than the last. It's an elegant showcase for the sort of talent that's here. I mean, there's so many, everybody, there's no duds. There are no orange creams that you bite into and go, I was really hoping for a coffee. They just don't exist in this show. And you get the likes of, Jessica Hines and Connor Swindles and, turning up as guest superstars. And yeah, it's breathtaking. It's like, world, look out.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And obviously these are the made-up adventures of Dick Turpin. So did that stop you from going and looking at any sort of real life inspirations, or were there any fictional characters who maybe inspired you at all? Or did you really just want to bring, as I said before, what was in the script and your own ideas to the role?
I did do a little bit of reading around, and there are so many conflicting reports about Dick Turpin, about what he did and where he was, and so it's a great idea extrapolated. And Lady Helen Guinea is not a historical character, but is. We all have somebody in our lives, and particularly a female figure who had some level of authority or sway over us. I think everybody has that. So it's just really cluing into that, whether it was a teacher or a neighbor or, a family member who turns up at certain times of the year and wields too much power. I think that history, we're always remaking history, but with the same old building blocks of funny old humans.
Well, fantastic. Well, Tamsin, thank you so much for your time. I'm a long-time fan of yours. I loved what you brought to this show, and it's such a fun series. I cannot wait for people to see it. So, like I said, thank you again.
Brilliant. Thanks so much. Lovely to talk to you.